Hello, everyone. It's a lovely Wednesday here, and we're finally over the previous game, and we're over Everton. We can focus on this lovely midweek we have, in which not much is happening really, but it's gonna be fun because y'all are here, we're here, and we're gonna talk about Spurs. So that will be fun. That's always fun to talk about Spurs. And today I have with me, as usual, on Wednesday, the most amazing, the coolest, the best, Chang, my Asian bestie, because this is the Asian Takeover, Thoughts from Asia. So everyone, welcome to the show today. Chang, how you been?
I'm doing very well today on this lovely Wednesday evening. It's evening now. It's 7 p.m. here in Kuala Lumpur, the capital of Malaysia. Uh, it was raining a bit earlier, but it's cool now, so I'm getting a very good breeze. I'm in a very buoyant mood because I will be going back tomorrow to my hometown for Chinese New Year over the
Oh,
weekend. I cannot wait for that because it's been a very long time since I actually had a proper gathering with my family members. Now that the COVID restrictions have been fully and completely lifted here in Malaysia, and if I'm not mistaken, on Saturday, the first day of Chinese New Year is when we will be taking on Brighton at home, followed by the following week, which is also, I believe, on a Saturday as well. It will be at home against Wolves. So it's back-to-back home league games. I'm fully expecting to be able to do my first ever watch along with my daughters back in Malacca, my hometown.
oh,
So
that's
there's something
amazing.
for me to look forward to. Yes, I really cannot wait to actually have this opportunity to actually be able to sit down and watch them because most of our games were either far too late for them to stay up beyond say 10 or 11 p.m. at night, or it could even be on a Sunday night, and they will usually go to bed very very early because they have to go to school and have to go to work on the Monday morning, so that's not viable. But this time around, two back-to-back home league games for us on Saturdays and on the Chinese New Year holiday festive period as well. I simply cannot wait for that.
Sinhe Kuala, is that right? Did I say it right this time?
Yes, that is absolutely correct. That is literally Happy New Year. The 新年 is the New Year and the 快乐 is the happy. So it's 新年快乐, which is the Happy New Year. Very well done, Miss Ash.
Thank you. I try. With Chang here, we can learn a little bit. This is a language episode. You can learn Hindi from me. You can learn. What do you speak? I know you're like originally from China, like descended from China. Do you speak Mandarin or do you speak
I
Cantonese? Or
mm, Okay, my primary language here in Malaysia and also for my family is actually Cantonese. I am very fortunate in which both my paternal and maternal family, meaning my dad's side and my mother's side, they are Cantonese from the district of Canton in mainland China. So yes, I'm primarily Cantonese, but I also speak Mandarin as well because Mandarin is the main Chinese medium of communication all around Malaysia, not just Malaysia, but Southeast Asia as well in general. If you were to go to places like Singapore, Indonesia, Thailand, maybe even the Philippines, Myanmar, Cambodia, uh, Brunei, all of these countries here in Southeast Asia, we use Mandarin, and that really helps, especially for uh, people either from here in Southeast Asia or people from China or Taiwan or Macau or Hong Kong. We all pretty much have this main medium of communication within the Asian community, which is Mandarin.
gotta say hi, big up Adrian Chia for that super chat. Safe travels, Chang. Chang, could you pronounce that? The second part of that?
Yes, okay. So this is actually in the native Malay language of Malaysia, which is Bahasa. So basically, what he's saying is Selamat Tahun Baru Cina, which directly translates to English is Happy New Year, or in Mandarin it will be 新年快乐. So to Mr. Adrian Shah over in Singapore, a very very 恭喜发财 and also a 新年快乐身体健康 to you as well from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I have to say to you, Mr. Agent, thank you very, very much for participating yesterday during our members calling show, I believe, which was some 22 hours ago, if not mistaken, immediately after the live watch along between Korea and Jordan over on Spurs Vision TV. So thank you very, very, very much as always, Mr. Adrian, for your continued support of all our channels, whether it's here on Spursvision TV or sorry, here on Talk and Ball or at Spursvision TV or even LTL Cocorel and other YouTube channels in the circuit. We really, really appreciate you, Mr. Adrian.
Absolutely. Big up, Adrian. And see, we all learn something new every day. Um, so we're learning lots and lots of languages today. It's the language class because it's views from Asia. We got to say hi to some people in the chat. And Jose is here reminding everyone that you should sub to Talking Ball and you can join us with memberships if you want to. But, what's free is smashing that like button. So everybody go ahead and do that. Remember to do that. Um, and we have Eugene from Spursvision TV. So big up Eugene. And Chris is here saying namaste and ni hao. Big up everyone in the chat. And Shanata's here. Hi to Shanata. Uh, Ellie's here saying Chang and it. Woo! Yes, woo to Ellie. I'm a terrible wooer. Everyone. Quiz Ali's here giving a thumbs up. Big up and saying big up, y'all. Big up to you, Quiz. And Ellie saying you look refreshed, Ash. You've been getting sleep, it looks like. Yeah, absolutely. My God, Ellie, I really needed to sleep. I finally went to the doctor, and the doctor gave me some things. Apparently, I have to get some tests done because I don't sleep easy. So some tests need to happen. But I definitely have had more sleep in the past couple of days. So, yay to me, I'm rested. And Daniel is here saying big up to you, Daniel. So let's get into it. Let's go. So Chang, let's start with the happy news. Um, we have our wonderful Sunny. Unfortunately, he lost. South Korea lost their game against Jordan. If they had to lose, I can't imagine a less likely opponent they would lose to. But they were terrible, terrible in that game. They were so bad. They just had nothing. They offered nothing. And Jordan played really well. But who cares? We have Sunny back. Sunny is coming back. Here comes the sun. Doo-doo-doo-doo. So everyone, Sunny is back. Let's celebrate that. What do you think, Chang? You happy Sunny's coming back?
Of course, he's going to be such a massive addition to us for the second half of this league season, in which we are surprisingly enough, I believe we are something like 8 points off the top of the table, and we are still within reach of top four, which is our which looks like a very possible target from between now to the end of the season. Don't get me wrong, Richarlison is on form right now and is been doing what is expected of him, which is to score goals. But with Sunny back now, that the assist ratio, or rather the goals and the assists that will be coming from yet another international player who's returning from his international duties in the form of Sang Heung-min. The timing of his return couldn't be at a better time. Now, when we are coming into this run of home games, which look winnable on paper, but I wouldn't count our chickens just yet because we cannot take anything for granted at all in this league, because we've seen it ourselves time and time and time again, whereby fancied better teams when they go up against lesser opposition or teams that are ranked below them in the table, anything can happen. Like if you to take, for example, the Wolves and Manchester United game, which I believe was last weekend, the last match of the previous weekend that nearly ended up in a 3-3 draw, but plucky old Manchester United won that by 4 goals to 3. But it just goes to show that teams, when they do turn up or when they hit a purple patch of form, anything can happen. So with Son Heung-min, we have better chances now of outscoring the opposition because I believe Big Edge still has something to sort out in our defense as well. Until we can stop leaking goals from set pieces, whether it's free kicks or corners or even penalties, and also the mistakes by our own defensive backline, whether it's from the centre backs or the wing backs. And until those goals are curtailed from leaking any further, I would definitely welcome all the help we can get in the forward lines to simply just outscore the opposition and win by brute force.
Yeah, yeah. I'm really happy Sunny's coming back as well. I will though say that he's played a lot of football this year, and South Korea, they play him every possible minute they can, and he's looked a little, honestly, he's looked a little tired in all of the South Korean games. And there was that one time where people were scared that his hamstring had gone. Luckily, it wasn't anything. It was probably just a cramp. But the fact that he's cramping, etc., despite getting regular game time, means that he's not 100% fit. So I would worry slightly about Sunny coming back. But what it does give us is that it gives us options. Even if Sunny doesn't start the next game, if he just comes off on from the bench as a super sub for one game, works himself back into form, or fitness rather, I think that it just gives us so much. Like when you're bringing Brian Hill on in the last 10 minutes, is like bringing Sunny on is such a giant upgrade from Brian Hill. So I think that it's just nice to have those options, and I'm hoping by the next game, that's I think the Wolves game, we'll see Sunny starting, and then Timo Werner can come off the bench. And I think that's a really good time to have Timo Werner come on as well, because he's really fast. And so, when you have tired legs in the opposition and you bring on Johnson and Werner, it just like, and them running at the opposition, maybe that'd be really good for us on the counter. Uh, I, I will say that with Sunny, I'm really happy he's coming back. Also because we need our captain back. We need some like experience, a few calm heads, because we've not been able to manage our games in the final couple of moments. So it'd be nice to have like that leadership team back and playing the role it was originally playing, with Sunny, Madders, and Romero, sort of like managing the game, and all of giving some calm heads to these younger players. So because I think that Brentford game, right? I don't like Højbjerg to start, but when he comes off the bench, he gives us that calmness. He gives us that control in the game. So I'd like to have a few senior players sort of like scattered across the team that do that. That sort of like push the game, like control the game and sort of push it forward. And like, for example, if Sunny were just to take the ball to the corner and sit on it, sit on it, I mean like just hold it there in the corner for a little while in the last couple of minutes. That would be much better than us trying to go for a goal and then conceding in the last few minutes like we did in the last couple of games. So I will say that in that sense also, it's great to have our captain back. I think that's the best part of having Sunny back. Gonna look at some of these comments. Daniel saying we fighting teams in a top four battle. We're not in a title race. What do you think, Chang? Do you think we're top four is where we land?
Top four will be my realistic target now, between now and the end of the season, because anything more than that, I think is a big bonus. seeing as how we've just sold our highest ever scoring forward in club history to Bayern Munich, and it's also Big Ange's first full season. And if you look at the early half of the season, where there was so many injuries and so many suspensions, coupled with the recent international duties for three of our core players in the likes of Sun Heung-min, Pape Matasar, and Bissouma. Right now, I'm just glad we are getting all of them back at once. Top four is definitely the realistic target. Anything more, whether it's top two or top three, would be a dream. Top one would be nothing short of miraculous, if you ask me. Given how we've been not really been able to stop the goals leaking in towards the end of games, either in the FA Cup or in the league. So until we find a long-term solution to our defensive solidity at the back, as well as more stability in the midfield, as well as finishing prowess or finishing uh, strike ratio or goals to shots on targets ratio, we will be realistically top four is definitely a realistic uh, target at the end of the season, but all is not lost. It's not the end of the world if we do not make top four. We still have to believe that Big Ange knows what he's doing. The project is well underway. I can expect a few more incomings and outgoings this summer, especially as we are trying to get rid of a few more deadwood, uh, the loanies or the fringe players, and maybe bring in some fresh faces in the midfield department, possibly even a long-term backup goalkeeper to Fraser Foster. If Fraser Foster is on his final year, then yes, backup to Vicario will be very welcome. So between now and the end of the season, let's just aim for the top four. European football is almost a must right now because we need that European football to be able to sort of like entice or uh, try to use it as a sort of open invitation to top players from all over Europe or even all over the world to join the project and play for Big Ange. Currently, the if the January transfer window is anything to go by, the signs are very encouraging. If you see how players have been rejecting Bayern Munich and Barcelona for Spurs, but to be very fair, we need European football in order to get more marquee signings. I mean, like signings that will walk straight into our starting 11, not just sit on the fringes or warm the bench like Dragushin and even Lucas Bergvall from Sweden, which I think he will be slowly integrated into the team. Don't get me wrong, but a marquee signing that can just slot right into either flanks, either wings, up forward, or even in the midfield. If the likes of Pape Matasar or Bissouma ever picks up injuries and we are left with only Højbjerg and Skip, so someone like that is very welcome. So yeah, let's make sure we get that European football qualification. Aim for top four. Anything more, it's a bonus.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. I do have to say hi to a bunch of people. Good morning, you beautiful people. Patty, good morning to you. And my namesake, Paddy, I should say. Salam is here. Hi, Salam. Jishnu's here. Hello, Jishnu. Audio Artisan is here. Hello. Um, so I kind of agree with you on the top four thing. I think that you know, like Daniel's saying, United's not too far behind, and Villa, they just thrashed Sheffield, so they'll be high on confidence as well. And we're coming up. The fixtures that are coming up on paper, they look like winnable fixtures, but if you look at it seriously, we've dropped points to a lot of these teams. We dropped points to Brighton. We've dropped points to Wolves. So actually they're quite tricky fixtures for us. So we don't really know what will happen. I would say that it's possible. Like top four is going to be a difficult battle. I'm not saying that we won't get top four. Definitely, I feel like we can definitely get top four, especially with our first 11 back and, firing um, all guns blazing. I think that we can definitely get top four. But, that April fixture list looks terrible. And we do have a few tricky games before that. So I will say that it's not going to be easy to get top four. I think we should. Uh, I'm not saying we should temper our expectations because we can get anything we want to. I do think the title race is definitely difficult, is what I would say, because we don't have a settled midfield. Like for us, goal scorers with Sunny back and Richie in form, we do have a few goal scorers now in our team. But I would say that the midfield is starting to worry me a little bit. Talking about midfielders, um, we have a certain midfielder from Mali who has malaria, apparently now confirmed that he has malaria. um, what do you think, Chang? Do you think when do you think he'll come back?
So for Bissouma and his bouts of malaria, from what I was told, because when I was doing the watch along for the Korea versus Jordan game yesterday with Mr. Eugene on Spurs Vision TV, Mr. Eugene did bring up a point when he did a year or so abroad in Africa, whereby for these Africans, getting malaria is very common for them, and it's almost inescapable at some point in their lives. It's almost like if you ever heard of chicken pox, if you know what chicken pox is and how pretty much every Asian would at some point in their lives either they get inoculated or they actually get chicken pox themselves. So for the Africans, malaria is like their form of chicken pox, where it's inescapable, and you would come back stronger having contracted malaria. So for Bisuma, I fully trust in our medical team to get him back to full health, nurse him back to full fitness as well. And until he does come back, be thankful that we still have the likes of Bentancur to cover for him and be partnered alongside Pape Matasar and James Madison in midfield. Worst come to worst, we still can deploy Kulusevski or maybe Højbjerg or even Skip in the midfield role to shore up that midfield in the absence of Bissouma. But as far as malaria is concerned, and Bissouma's health, I have absolutely no worries at all that he would be back in no time at all. Given how he's he still has some time between now and maybe towards April when he's really, really needed, when we really need that strength with the midfield strength and depth to properly put in a strong finish towards the end of the season. But as far as Bisoumas and his health is concerned, I have absolutely no worries about that. He will be back, and we will see the Bissouma from the first 10 games from our season under Big Ange.
Yeah. um I We have a superstar kind of waiting in the background, quietly listening to us. So I thought, why not just have him come on? He's supervising us from the back, like really, really seriously. So I thought we might as well bring him on. Here he is. Jose is here. Uh, our talk and ball patriarch, our wonderful, the wonderful genius who comes up with all of those cruel keep or West Ham. So we have him here with us. So Jose, welcome. How you doing? All good?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Yeah, I'm all right working, but I've got a few minutes to come on. And I thought to myself, the shoe's on the other foot because it's your show, Ash and Chang. I can be the guinea pig, so to speak, and you can fire all your questions at me like I normally do when you're on my shows. So I just thought to myself, I'll reciprocate it for you both.
Yeah. Jose, Chang and I were talking about Bisuma getting malaria. So, what do you think? Do you think do you think that now that he has malaria, uh, it's gonna be hard to bring him back soon? Because like, where do you stand on it? Do you think that we have, because Benton Core hasn't been playing really well, so we have this sort of midfield conundrum. Like, what do we do? What is our best midfield right now? Because everyone thought that Benton Core would be, would come back and he'd just be amazing because he is amazing, and then we wouldn't need Bisuma that much. But now that it is what it is. What do you think?
So, to me, I can only say to you that I don't know much about malaria. It's not my side of the world, so I don't really know much about it. I know that it's infectious, but other than that, I don't know what the prognosis is for malaria normally. What I find interesting is that it said that he had malaria 3 weeks ago, and yet he was playing games, he was coming off the bench, and he was making appearance minutes here and there, maybe not the full 90, but he kept playing on with it. So what's the difference with him having malaria in Africa for 3 weeks already, and then him coming back to London with malaria? I'm not sure. Is he allowed to travel out of Africa with malaria? Is he allowed back into London with malaria? I'm not sure how we stand with it. I mean, you guys probably know a lot more about malaria than what I do.
I actually do. I do have a case for this. Like a case, like my dad, he got like, obviously he didn't get bitten by a mosquito in England. So he must have contracted malaria in India, and then he had to fly to the UK because he was working there for a while. And I will say this, that it makes no sense for Bisuma to come back, because as much as medical, like healthcare in the UK, they'll probably get him the best healthcare, and it'll be like expensive and everything. The doctors there don't really know how to treat malaria. Like, for a lot of the doctors, I mean, of course my dad went to like NHS doctors, but like, for them, for some of those doctors, my dad was the first case of malaria they'd ever seen. Whereas here, like in the tropical like places, malaria is pretty common. I've had it twice, my dad's had it once. It's like pretty common. It's kind of like getting like a advanced case of the flu, sort of. Like, honestly, the doctors here are so used to treating it, they just like, they know exactly the medicines to hand out, they know exactly the symptoms, they know how the disease progresses. They don't allow it to relapse, because that can also happen. Malaria, you can get a relapse of the disease if you don't take care of it. So, like, I think that he should stay in Africa and get the best possible medical health care in Africa, simply because I just don't know how good the doctors in, like, foreign countries are, like in the Western countries are, in treating a disease they're not so familiar with. I mean, obviously they're doctors, so they'd be fine, but I just feel like the doctors here are more used to this illness.
So with
So I
malaria,
would
so you can so with malaria, Ash, what does once you get bitten by a mosquito and you got malaria, what does it do to you?
So there are two types of malaria. So there's like, now this is becoming like slightly scientific, but like, there's Plasmodium falciparum, which is like the brain malaria. That's not what Bisuma has. And then there's Vivax, which is like the regular body malaria that doesn't affect your brain cells, and that's very mild. It's kind of like having fever, like you get night fever, shivers, that sort of thing. And so it's not that serious, and you get over it in like a week and a half, if you just take the right medication. And Bisuma is a footballer, so he's probably got a really healthy body to begin with, so he should be fine. The thing is that after you recover from malaria, there's a period when you're weak, so you need to like work on strength training, fitness training, etc. And I don't know if the doctors in the UK know exactly how to sort of bring someone up to speed after malaria as well, because the recovery period is very, very crucial, so that you don't have a relapse. And so I like, personally, I'd want him to stay in Africa, get treated for 2-3 weeks, train here, send the Spurs physio trainers, whatever, like they did with Madison in Dubai, and just have him chill there until he comes back. but I reckon he's already traveling, so I don't think that's possible.
So if he's had it for 3 weeks and it's been treated for 3 weeks, how long does it take with treatment to get rid of the effects of malaria then? Because he's had it for 3 weeks.
Yeah, honestly, he should be over the worst of it by now, but he just needs like a half a month more of rest, just to sort of so that it doesn't like weaken his body. So it's generally like for me, 2 to 3 weeks. I was fully recovered, but I'm not a professional athlete, so I don't have to like perform on the pitch. So the level of fitness that takes to recover to will be different from what it does for me to get back to work. So I would say that he for 3 weeks he'd have to sort of like manage his illness, and he might have made it worse by playing. You don't know.
Right, okay.
Adrian saying I was bitten by mozzies and got dengue, very common. Yeah, dengue is also really common, especially in India. In like Delhi, etc., it's like a real problem. Uh, Thank you, Adrian,
Over,
for that super
over,
chat. Everyone's now
yeah,
sharing their
over
malaria stories.
over here in Southeast Asia, it's not just Singapore, it's anywhere in the tropics actually, in Southeast Asia where you have jungles or anywhere there are forests, especially in Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, even in Singapore, where the mosquitoes, especially the mosquitoes, when it comes to the monsoon season, the rainy seasons, and you have all these widespread uh, mosquitoes that breed at large, and if they are uncontrolled, dengue is actually quite a deadly disease if it's not treated properly. Although now with a lot of modern medicine and a lot of home remedies, dengue is more treatable. But yes, dengue is a very, very big thing over here in Southeast Asia.
So I suppose in answer to your question, and now that you've educated me a bit more on malaria, I think the midfield three for me, the component that's been missing, it has been Sarr, because Sarr has been away, obviously at the AFCON. With him being back, I can't see why you can't play Bentancur, Sarr, and Maddison, because I think the three of them, it's a different dynamic. The three of them didn't play together in the last game because when Sarr came off the bench, he replaced and they changed their midfield, didn't they? And he replaced Bentancur had come off in that. Bentancur's slowly coming back to match fitness, and I'm not writing him off. Bentancur will come good. He just needs to get a bit more fitness and more energy into his legs. But I'm happy with having Sarr come back and making them the midfield three. Yes, it would be better if Bissouma was fit and able to be selected, because then you could have 4 midfielders for 3 bursts.
Yeah.
Not forgetting that Kulu can both play on the right hand side in the front three, but Kulu can also play the Madders role as well. So basically, you could end up saying that we've got 5 players for 3 positions, or we have 4 players up front for 3 positions, because you've got Brennan Johnson, Sonny, Richarlison, and Kulu if Kulu was going to play up in one of the forward 3. So basically, by having more people back from these competitions, although we wanted our players to do really, really well, or I personally did, it's come to an end for all 3 players. And it just means that our strength in our squad grows and goes back to the strength in our squad should be greater now than when we had the 10-game winning run. And the reason why I say that is that we've got all the players back. The only player that was missing in the first 10 games was Bentancur, and he's back now. So therefore, our squad should be greater now than what it was before.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what me daddy is also saying, that didn't you play these teams with half your squad missing? We got to say hi to a few people. Kali Pari is here, and so is Kamalika. And Ellie's saying, Jose, pop up. Jose, I'm going to call you. So,
Okay,
Jose,
Ellie, fair
take
enough.
the call from Ellie.
I've got my phone in front of me.
And Deb M, hello. Hi, Deb M. Is there anyone else here?
Yeah, there is.
Colin's joining us.
It's Colin. Colin, are you up? For you, it's like 5:36 in the morning. I'm surprised that you're awake.
Yeah. Colin, go to sleep. I get to say that for once. Well, so hi to everyone who joined us. There is a question that I'd sort of like to go back to because we kind of like moved on to other things. Quez Ali is asking thoughts on possibly playing Sunny on the right. I'll go to Jose first and then Chang.
Have we ever seen him play on the right? I'm not sure whether we've ever seen him play on the right. For me, I understand the new way in the new world of football where people have to be playing as inverted wingers. So they play on the opposite side of their stronger foot and they cut in and stuff. I like to mix it up. I do like the old style wingers where a winger would go past a player on their natural side and get the ball across the box. And I don't think we do enough of that at Tottenham. And it's obviously Ange wants it that way, but I'd like to see us change things up and get people on their natural sides rather than be inverted all the time. But with Sonny, which is Sonny's strongest foot? Is it his right or is it his left? Because I think he's equally adept with both. So if Sonny's probably one of those players that can play anywhere across the front three because he is a two-footed player.
Chang?
I think to answer this question, it would be up to the supporting forwards, the likes of Timo Werner, Brennan Johnson, maybe even a Kulusevski or even a Manor Solomon to see where would they be deployed. Because if Son is the jack of all trades, let's just consider Son as the jack of all trades, whereby he can fit in any position in the forward line. The question that should be asked is which other forward player do we have that would complement him if he were to play on the right? Would it be Timo Werner, as what we've seen Timo Werner do away against Manchester United and at home as well against Brentford, or would it be someone like, say, a Manor Solomon if he's coming back, or even a Brennan Johnson if he can be deployed there? So to answer your question, yes, to a certain extent, Sonny can be deployed on the right, but it depends on just how efficient his counter opposite his the left flank wide player is going to be effective or not in the game in which Son is deployed on the right.
Yeah, I absolutely, I'm with you. I think that it matters who we play everywhere else. For Sun, it depends on that whether we play him on the right. But I also think that you should play players in their strongest positions as far as possible. And with Sunny, I think that his strongest position is the left wing. So in instead of playing a slightly substandard player on the left wing just to fit Sunny in on the right because we need someone on the right, I'd rather have that right be slightly less effective and put Sunny where he's most lethal. So I would say that we do we're very blessed that Sunny is so two-footed, like so two-footed that I wouldn't be you like if someone just looked at his stats, you wouldn't even be able to guess which is his dominant foot. So I do think that he can play anywhere in the front three. But I why take that chance? Just play him in the left where he's comfortable. Like I think that with experience, Sunny can just dictate where he plays on that pitch, and if and as long as he wants to, as long as he's holding down that left, he should play there. Um, Jishnu saying, I don't see Bisuma being a regular starter at this stage of his career. Might be a backup in PL or UCL group stage level. We should all go in for Kamara in the summer. Kamara Sar or Kamara Bentancur will be solid. So there was somebody else who said Kamara in the starting of the chat. Yeah, somebody else. Thoughts on Kamara, Aston Villa? Chang?
To be honest, I've not seen too much of Kamara apart from maybe the highlights of any of these weekend matches that featuring any of the top clubs. Kamara, if he is the kind of player that Big Ange needs in the midfield, and he does suit the profile, and he's available at a practical price, a negotiable price that the club can uh, spend the right kind of money to obtain him. Why not? But until such time as which Big Ange sanctions his purchase, otherwise it's just purely speculation at this point.
Yeah, I mean, uh, I don't know, like why would so Villa and Spurs right now are kind of at the same level. So I don't know, and you know what, he would get the amount of game time he would get at Villa. It's kind of it's not dissimilar to the kind of game time he would get at Spurs. So I don't really know. Uh, I do think he's a very talented player, and he's 24, so he's not too young. So he fits that profile of just young enough but with experience. Jose, what do you think?
Is that on Boubacar Kamara?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's a decent player, but we've got Pap Sarr. So, and I think Pap Sarr and him would be identical players. So, if you're bringing him in to compete, which is what it would be, he's not going to be a guaranteed. But if you bring him in to compete, yeah, someone like Boubacar Kamara could probably improve your squad, but in competition, not as a first team star. So it's not, for me, it's not a bad shout from Jishnu, because at the end of the day, what you want to bring in is you want to bring in players of equal or better quality. So yeah, it's a good shout. I don't know whether he was bought through the Aston Villa Academy. It remains to be seen who has to sell players at the end of the season before the 30th of June to balance their books. And it remains to be seen whether Aston Villa, it's been mooted that they are one of these clubs, but then it remains to be seen. I think that there's going to be
he's from Marseille. Like he started in his academy career at Marseille and then went to Aston Villa.
But how long was he in Villa's academy, or did he get bought in and he's in Villa's first team?
I think he was in Marseille. From what I remember, he was at Marseille.
Okay.
I think he came as a senior player to Villa.
Okay, fair enough. Well, then in that case, they're not going to get to hit their bottom line. To make a real dent into their FFP, they need to sell homegrown players that have come through, rather than, well, it depends. I don't know what kind of trouble they're in, but there is mooted people out there saying that they are in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, as usual, Danny knows best. Daniel, he's saying they got him from Marseille. So, and we have somebody new in the chat. Hi, Hatim. Saying, so he's saying, I'm the prince of Yemen, Hatim. So, hi, Hatim. Hi to you. We have royalty, apparently. We have Ellie and we have Hatim. So, we have two people who are royal. So welcome, Hatim. Yeah, everyone's talking about malaria. I'm gonna just skip all of that. Y'all can Google malaria symptoms and things like that. Daniel is saying Sonny is more of a two-footed player than Werner, so I would prefer Sonny on the right rather than Werner. This is right. Yeah, I would prefer him to Werner anywhere on the pitch, actually. But yes, definitely on the right, I would prefer.
Can I just say, what's interesting is that when we were successful in the first 10 games and we were scoring goals and we were unbeaten, who were our front three?
Richie on the left, Sonny in the middle, and we had Kulu on the right, and sometimes Johnson in the Arsenal team.
It was cool. It was cool. It was basically Kulu. So the three we had, whether we had Sonny on the left or in the middle, Richie in the left or in the middle, they were the three that we had when we were successful. And in midfield, we would had Sarr, Bissouma, and Maddison. Well, Bissouma, you have to replace him for Bentancur now. We have the front three that we had when we were successful, but then you also have Johnson and Werner that you can bring on as well. So there's a lot of thinking for Ange to do, but what good thinking he's got, because he's got near enough a fully fit squad to pick from. So yeah, there's different permutations. Things since the first 10 games have changed, because even at the back, we've now got different permutations because we've now got Dragus in there as well. So there are different permutations that he can come out with. The only person that you wouldn't want to see changed with permutations is Vicario.
Yeah. Yeah, no. If I see Foster anywhere near that goal, I'm going to lose my head. I will just be like, I cannot watch this game. Sorry. Um, Ellie saying, yes, Sunny has played on the right and he's two-footed, unlike Kulu, who should join our midfield ranks and compete for his place there. Um, I, I will say this. Kulu hasn't really, you know, yes, our best midfield, our best front for three during that period when we were amazing was Sunny, Richie, and Kulu. But Kulu hasn't. He's just really been off it in the last couple games. He hasn't been able to make the passes, even the things that he's good at, like his hold up play. That's also been like slightly off. Chang, what do you think about Kulu? Chang?
For Kulu, I think it could be a matter of confidence. Can you hear me? Am I
Yes.
audible?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, so yeah, in terms of Kulusevski and his recent run of form, or rather his lack of productivity in the team of late, I would say it's maybe because of his lack of confidence, or maybe something else that's going on in his personal life behind the scenes that we don't really know about. Whatever it is, this is not the first time actually we've seen Kulusevski go on a rather barren run of assists or goals, or even any kind of solid performance for us in any kind of competitive match. I personally wouldn't read too much into it. I won't be hitting the panic button on his recent slump in form anytime soon, because I know this is just uh, a I would say it's not a permanent thing. It's more of a temporary thing, because plus is always permanent. So the saying goes. Maybe he would really benefit from Sun being back. This is just my hypothesis, or this is just my theory on this. But with Sun being back and with a proper captain to lead the front line, we could actually be seeing Kulusevski being deployed on the right flanks again, going forward in the second half of this season. Now that we already have the likes of James Madison and Pepe Matassar in midfield. So assuming, and this is a big assumption, our midfield three is going to be Pepe Matassar, Madison, and Bentancur at home against Brighton. Then the three forwards would pick themselves. Richarlison on the right, Son Heung-min, most definitely on the left, and then on the right hand side, on the right flank, it's a toss up then between Kulusevski and Brennan Johnson. And given how I believe it was either you, Miss Ash, or Queen Ellie who's been campaigning for either one of Brennan Johnson or Kulusevski to be benched for the next run of games until they can find their mojo or get their form back. So yeah, this is something that we. Oh yeah, it could be you. It could be you too, Senor Garcia. Yeah, it could be right. I think I did hear you and Colin discuss this over the weekend. Either it was in a pre-match or a post-match after the away debacle against Everton. But yeah, someone like a Brendan Johnson and a Kulusevski, they could do with some time on the bench to reflect and really to maybe uh, see how they can get back into the Ange ball system and be at their effective best for the team and our next few couple games. But yes, bench time for either of them will really do them good. But I wouldn't be too worried about their long-term roles in the team.
Yeah, I quickly gotta say hi to a few people. Morning, Ben. How's it going? Um, and then Tequila's here saying big up, lovely Ash, lovely Eltel, and panel, and also saying that doesn't know Chang well enough to call him lovely. Well, Tequila, I will tell you that Chang is absolutely lovely. So you can say hi. You can say lovely Chang as well. Um, Then we have Najumi, new name in the chat. So hi Najumi. And Lee Smithy Smith is here saying big up all, big up Lee. Um, okay, so I'm just gonna go back to what we were discussing, but before that, as Jose says, everyone, uh, smash that like button, show some love to me and to Chang and to Jose, or whatever. If you don't like us, smash that like anyway because you tuned in, didn't you? And it's absolutely free, so you don't lose anything. um Jishnu saying Sar Kamara aren't identical. Kamara more of deep lying defensive mid good on ball. He's the spine behind Aston Villa's success. He likes to sit in between the defenders, a modern day Louis Gustavo. What do you think about that, Chang?
Okay, I believe that before we even get into potential signings in the summer, in terms of our midfield, we have to first look at two very important components, or rather, two very important aspects of our midfield that is that we have currently on the books and that is going to be playing a very big part of our future in seasons to come. The first one is the likes of Lo Celso, the futures of Højbjerg and Oliver Skip. How are they going to fit into the system if they even have a future at all as Spurs playing Ange ball on the big Ange? And also the recent signing of Lucas Bergvall. Now it's very easy for us to all overlook the recent signing because it was a deadline day signing which absolutely no one saw coming. Because I was honestly given up hope that Barcelona would have signed him, but to his credit, to Lucas Bergvall's credit, he has signed for Spurs, and he is one that will be. Uh, I read somewhere from our official statement that he will only be joining sometime in July, I believe, and
Yeah.
I don't think he would walk right into the squad. He would need time to develop. I wouldn't be surprised if he's sent out on loan, although the compilations, the video clips, and all the analysis, the threads I'm reading all over social media points out that he may be the real deal. He could be one that would really light up any Premier League team the way our own Pape Matasar and Destiny Udogi themselves have just taken the Premier League by storm. So Lucas Bergvall, if he is as good as a lot of these so-called experts are claiming that he is, what does that say about any potential summer signings in the midfield department for us? And I must add this as well. This is also highly dependent on what are we going to do with the likes of Lo Celso? What are we going to do with Højbjerg, Skip, or even any other of our youngsters, whether it's Alfie Divine or what's the other guy's name?
Donnelly.
There's another midfielder as well.
Donnelly.
Yeah,
Donnelly.
Jamie
Donnelly.
Donnelly, that's the one. That's the one who, yep, exactly. Thank you, Senor Garcia. Jamie Donnelly, who has been making these cameo appearances off the bench as well in recent games. So what does the future hold for them? All of this, I believe, Big Ange himself is taking into serious consideration before we actually make our next big summer signing, or rather our next big signing in the midfield department. How we are dealing with our Deadwood, or the people that, or the players that we are looking to move on, and how we are going to integrate all these youth players that we already have with us at the club. This is something to look into. So in terms of the whole Kamara thing, I would play it off for the meantime because we still have a lot of players in that department. And until such time, Big Ange himself really sanctions the signing of another midfielder, I think it's either going to be a midfielder that will walk straight into the team, or we'll just have to make do with what we have and maybe even find one or two replacements for our fringe players who are looking to move on.
Yeah. I gotta say, we have a Gandhinavian god in the chat. Hello to Bobby K, who's saying, good morning, Ash, Jose, Chang, and everyone in the chat, coming Spurs. And we also have Money saying, hello, hello, I'm still shouting expletives in celebration. We got Sunny back. Club before country, always. That's, I mean, when you're supporting South Korea, that's not really hard because clearly managerial appointments is something South Korea finds hard to get right. Um, but good on you, Money, for being happy that he's coming back, despite the fact that South Korea lost. I wish that they would have won it, but if they haven't, the next best thing is to have Sunny back. So big up Money, and Ellie's saying it will give Brennan that hunger, and when he gets his chances off the bench, he will have to take them. Otherwise, he will be offloaded as Ange won't carry passengers, even though he was one he wanted. So Ellie's responding to the Chang's shout out saying she wanted Brennan Johnson benched. And Ellie's also saying not Donnelly, it's Jamie Donnelly. Guys, I've had his mum on the line. Um, is there a difference in that pronunciation? I'm butcher everybody's name, okay? So if I get it wrong, I'm really sorry. English is not my first language. Everyone should remember that. And Mani is saying Klinsmann, the new Arteta. Actually, wait, English is not, I mean, technically either of any of our first languages. Because Jose has got Spanish heritage and Chang is from Malaysia. So, hey,
So can I just add to what Chan was saying earlier, right? With
yeah, yeah.
Bergvall, I haven't seen Bergvall play. I'm not going to say that I knew about him or anything at all because I don't. I haven't even watched the reel about him at all. I've read comments. I've not seen him in the flesh, anything at all. Now, what I will say is a few points is on Tottenham signings this in the winter window. I think the positivity of the signings is the fact that the three players that we bought in, whether we're in agreement or not, they were sought after by other clubs. And these three players who we went for decided to come to Tottenham. So you got Werner chose us over Man United, Dragusin chose us over Bayern, and Bergvall chose us over Barcelona. That is the positive part for me going forward. If I read what it's being said in the media, online, everywhere, is this Bergvall is likened to a mini De Jong, is what people are saying. And for me, De Jong is some player. He's lost his way at Barcelona a bit because he's not played, but when he was at Ajax, he was a machine. And I think that De Jong has to leave Barcelona. It's either change the management or he has to leave Barcelona to find his feet again. But to get that comparison at a very young age is really, really good. Yes, I agree with Chan. We need to see where we are in the summer once he comes in because he can't play. He can't join us till July now, effectively, because he's on loan at his parent club, at his former club, Jurgensen's. He's on loan until the end of the season. So then he comes to us on the 1st of July. And that will then add competition into the midfield. And then by then we will have an idea of what we want to do as a club going forward. Or should I say, Ange and the team around him will have that opinion. But what I will say is I saw I've never seen this other player, Ronnie Bargy.
Barty, yeah.
Okay, I've never seen him play. I know nothing about him either, but there was stuff yesterday saying that he would love to join up with Bergvall and Kulusevski. So what's this Ronnie Bargy like, and what position does he play in? Educate me, because I don't know.
Honestly, Senor Garcia, I'm as lost as you as lost as you on this as well because I've never. I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. Up until now, until I read that little snippet about him wanting to, of him not shooting down any speculations that he might be linking up with Kulusevski and Bergvall at Spurs. I've actually never heard of this player. I have no clue who he is, what position he plays, from which club he even hails from. So this player came absolutely out of the blue. But I guess now I don't know why. In the recent, not only this recent last few months, it's been recent seasons as well. A lot of these new young players, the likes of even this Lucas Bergvall himself, they've come out from absolutely nowhere and all of a sudden like they are catching on so quickly. So this new Ronnie guy, if he really is anything
Everyone
that
Rooney Bargy, like Wayne Rooney,
Rooney
Rooney
Baji. Okay, let's just call him Rooney Baji then. So this Rooney
Bargy.
Baji, if he really is the real deal, and if he's anything like what Lucas Bergwall is, or if his ceiling, if the potential of the ceiling for this Rooney really is that good, I mean, if he is another player that Big Ange himself fancies, why not take a chance on him? But of course, at this point in time, we must remember this is all just purely speculation. We could always do some research on him to see what is his strengths, what kind of positions does he thrive in, and just how highly valued is he in the transfer market.
A lot of good people, Chan. A lot of good people. This Rooney Bargy, I've heard his name in the past. I heard his name before Lucas Bergvall, to be honest. A lot of people have been raving about this youngster as well as being the next best thing. And a lot of good people have been saying this. So therefore, to see a post yesterday from him saying that he's happy for Lucas Bergvall and he'd like to unite at Tottenham. I mean, I couldn't tell you what I don't even know what position he plays in, but I know a lot of people have raved about him. So to me, you know, at the end of the day, if you can buy players that either improve your squad or have a sell-on value for you, then I think it'd be good business.
So from what I've heard, he plays for Copenhagen. I can't claim to be a regular viewer of FC Copenhagen, but I will say that apparently he's a attacking midfielder. I
Okay.
don't know much about him either. I saw like one comps video, but they all look good in these comps videos, so I can't really say.
He's played in the Champions League then, Ash, and I think if he's the man I'm thinking of, he scored against Man United a few times. He scored
Yeah, no,
goals for
he scored against
Copenhagen.
Sevilla.
Okay, Sevilla.
There was this. He scored against Sevilla in like that 3-0 that Sevilla game in the Champions League.
Yeah.
This was like 3 years ago. So he got a goal in that, and he scored in the Man United game as well. You're right.
Yeah, I was
In
going to
that
say,
4-3 United game.
did he score? How many goals has he got in the Champions League this season? Because I think he's a regular fixture for Copenhagen, and that's where I've
So
possibly seen him.
I think this season he just has that goal against United in the Champions League, but in total he scored like some, I think 2 goals in this Champions League.
Okay, and he's what is he? 17, 18?
No, he's 18 right now.
18. There we go. Okay, so 18 playing regular first team football and playing in the Champions League. Because did Copenhagen? Did they not get through to the next round at the expense of Manchester United and Sevilla? Oh no, I think Copenhagen got through.
I don't know. I just stopped.
That's fine. It's fine. Okay, fine. It's fine. I'll check it while you're talking. It's all right.
Yeah. And Ellie's talking about how she's a total flip flop. Yeah, Ellie, you gotta own that. Hold that, Ellie. You're terrible. You're a flip flop. Like you should. You are insult to the name of Ellie Benton Core. Go back to Ellie Hoybier, like you wanted to.
Yeah, Copenhagen did get through. They were runners up to Bayern in their group, and they knocked out Galatasaray, Man United, and they've now got Man City in the next round.
We gotta say hi. Daniel's here. One love, Daniel. He's saying Buenos dias, la familia. Big up to you, Daniel. Our chef from Bolivia. Where does he work? Somewhere in Europe, right? I think he works in like Italy or Spain, but he's from Bolivia. I forgot, somewhere in Europe.
No, I think Daniel Sandoval's up in Scandinavia somewhere.
Oh, right.
I think.
I knew it was in Europe.
Yeah.
Is there something wrong with the audio? Whose audio is bad? Everyone's complaining about audio. Ben's saying rest in peace, headphone users. Is that me? Is there anything wrong with my audio?
My microphone is on mute if I'm not speaking. My microphone will be on mute if I am not speaking, so it shouldn't be from my side.
Nick is saying, oh, Nick is here. Hi, Nick. Um, Frankie doesn't want to leave Barca and is highly unlikely to go. Barca want to keep him for another season also. Yeah, I agree.
But what I was saying, Nick, is that I'm not saying that he wants to leave. I'm saying that at the moment he's not a regular fixture playing week in week out at Barcelona, and it's either we know Xavi's leaving. The new manager that comes in gives him a chance and he becomes that first team starter, so he has a long run at it, or he might think of leaving to go to another club where he will play first team football on a regular basis.
Bobby K is saying liked on both channels. Yes, everyone, be like Bobby K. Like on both channels, and everyone also sub to Ben on the coffee company. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, no, I hear it. I hear it. Um, um, it's a lot of fun, and you know what? When you go there, please type in the word Spurs or football. It'll be lots of fun to see what happens.
So I've messaged both the mods on my phone to tell them to plug their channel. So yeah, please support Ben at the coffee company. And if Bobby wakes up and stops messing around with the chat here, he'll probably plug his channel as well.
Money saying names these days: Rooney, Bajis, and Oscar Bobs. Where did all the Enos go? Oh well, us mostly these are the product of millennial parents. Uh, so it's all our fault. We have to own it. And Ellie saying Rooney is a winger. He's 5 feet 8 inches. He's old. 49 matches for Copenhagen. He's not old, Ellie. He's 18 years old. And has scored 12 goals. And like Bergwall, he's 18 and has been playing well in the Champions League. Oh, I thought he was like a second, like he was a cam. He was a second striker. At least in the comps videos, he plays very centrally. See, this is why you don't trust comps videos. Oh wait, sorry, Jose. Yes, everyone, sub to Bobby at Three Spurs Boys. Go and do that quickly. After the show, you don't leave now. Go after the show. Definitely sub to Bobby. And Bob saying, "Wake up! I refuse to bend your ridiculous demands, Jose. It's only 7:07 a.m." That's very precise, Bobby. So clearly he's awake enough to know it's 07 a.m. So there you go. And then Ben saying there was a really loud mic connection sound a while back. Oh, that could have been me. I kind of knocked over my lamp. I have sunlight and I have to compete with that, so I put a lamp here, and it's like a whole thing. Don't worry. Like if you actually saw me streaming right now, it'd be this weird contraption where there's like my lamp jutting out from the side here, and then there's sunlight coming in from here, and I'm sort of like this. So yeah, it's funny. Whatever. Um, and now we have Indian Scouser here saying, big up from Thailand. Big up to you, Indian Scouser. And Ben saying someone has a loose mic. It ain't me, Ben. I knocked mine over, but I put it back in place. Yeah, so moving on from our possible summer transfers, I feel like summer is so far away. Like there's no point discussing it right now because we just finished the Jan window and we have so much football left before summer happens. So I feel like we gotta sort of focus on what we got right now and how we can use what we have right now. And sort of discussing that, what what do you think is our best midfield three? Like I know we've discussed now lots of options. We talked about Skip and Hoybier's role. We talked about Bentancur. We talked about Bissouma coming back. But just give me three names. Three names best midfield to play in the next game. Chang.
Madison, Pape Matasar, and Bentancur. There you have it.
That's the same for you, Jose?
I am in agreement with Chang.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with Chang as well. And Ellie saying, breaking news, we've just been linked to another Chelsea loanee, João Felix of Barca. well, I mean, we can't really get him now. We have to wait until the summer, right?
The last
But
I heard from Barcelona, sorry, very sorry to interrupt you there, Miss Ash. The name that was making the rounds yesterday, uh, I believe it was from Tuesday onwards, the name that was heavily linked from Barcelona was ex-Leeds forward player Rafinha. That was the name that was being quoted as being courted by Spurs from Barcelona. Although for a price of about 70 million pounds or so,
wow,
the
that's
story goes, I believe that might be a non-starter. But yeah, the last name that came out from the tabloids surrounding a Barcelona player that would be of interest to Spurs was Rafinha. So this João Felix from Barcelona, maybe it's another one of those uh, non-starter stories by these tabloids or reporters who are experiencing a slow news day.
I wouldn't be
yeah.
surprised. I'm not surprised that João Felix. João Felix went for a lot of money to Atletico Madrid. He went from a Portuguese club to Atletico Madrid. He's obviously not the type of player that Atletico Madrid would like, or something's happened there with the Argentinian manager, because he's no longer hasn't been in the plans and keeps getting loaned out to clubs. So therefore, I wouldn't be surprised if João Felix is being linked with clubs, because he finishes. Barcelona can't afford to buy him. Let's be straight. Barcelona and Dire Straits, they can't afford to buy him. So therefore, Atletico Madrid, he goes back to Atletico Madrid, and it's either the Argentinian manager, whose name escapes me, is no longer there for next season, or João Felix will need to be moved on. So therefore, it doesn't surprise me, because Atletico Madrid will want to get rid of him and want someone to buy him. What I will
Uh,
say, and
Ben's correcting you and saying Benfica.
yeah, so what I will say is that, like I said in yesterday's show, the market here in the winter window proved throughout Europe that no one was making purchases, and that so therefore money is tight for everybody trying to fit into the Premier League rules and into the European rules, and therefore people may bid for João Felix, but Atletico Madrid will get nowhere near the money they spent for him when they bought him for over 100 million. They'll be lucky to get 50 million for him. I think
Yeah.
he's value. I mean, who was on the show yesterday was looking at transfer market value. Someone kept looking at transfer market values. I don't look at that, but I think that he would end up being under 50 million if he goes to someone.
Are you
Yeah,
talking about Alliance? Was it
Oh, that was
Alliance
it. It
was
was
looking it
Elias.
up
Yeah,
or someone else in the chat?
Elias was looking at it, weren't he? Because he did it on another player. So I just think that João Felix will move on from Atletico Madrid, but the kind of money that Atletico Madrid will receive for him will be far less than 50% of what they paid out for him, is what I think.
Gotta say hello to Only One Flicks. What's good, people? Come on, you Spurs. Hi, Only One Flicks. I will sort of, with the transfer stuff, I feel like just because Spurs is the only club with some money, because of the FFP stuff, we're just getting linked to everyone. Like I really feel like agents are doing this where they're just floating, like with anyone who's below the age of 24, they're just floating a possible Spurs link simply to get people to bite. Uh, because we have some money and they think that if they float it around enough, maybe Spurs will buy, or maybe Spurs will bite. So I really think that with a lot of these, because we just there's so many links. Like if you this Baji, João Felix, I saw some 4 or 5 other links. As the transfer window was closing, then there was after the window closed as well, we had a bunch of links. Now I've forgotten their names also, like just like these young up and coming sort of players. So I feel like it's just something agents are now doing where they're like, oh, we know the club that has money is Spurs, so let's just put Spurs in the race for things just to get people to like get some traction, get some interest going. I feel like that's what it is. I don't think any of these rumors are actually real realistic rumors. Like, I won't believe it until Fabrizio tweets it. Um, I think the sound is fine. That's what Ben's saying. All good at the moment. And Bobby is saying Mbappe is coming. Forget Felix. So Mbappe probably won't come. But Jose, do you think, is there like a marquee signing that you really want at Spurs? Like someone you think will just elevate us to the next level?
Is it? Are we being realistic or unrealistic?
I mean, we're being realistic but ambitious. This is a good shout. Najumi is saying Rafinha.
I would say the unrealistic in me says Mbappe, but the realistic one for me is probably Santiago Jimenez.
Yeah, I see Santiago Jimenez. That's a distinct possibility. Chang, what do you think? Wish list, marquee signing.
My unrealistic marquee signing would actually be Robert Lewandowski. It's sort of like a counter. It's like a counter punch to Bayern Munich stealing Harry Kane from us. So, uh, as a retaliation, we'll get their ex-player Robert Lewandowski to replace him. But realistically, I can only see maybe a Jota or Santiago Jimenez as well. Although, uh, I mean, it is Big Ange and his blessings that we need to take into consideration as well when we look at any more potential signings. So realistically, if if he is to honor his word and not go for his former Celtic players that will leave Jota out the running, I hope we get someone along the lines of an Ivan Toney. Although at this point I can't see us going for Ivan Toney, not with the kind of attitude that he has. Santiago Jimenez would be the next best thing, although that might be there might be a lot of competition for him in the summer. If he does continue on his goal scoring form between now until the summer transfer window. My original expectations was that we might actually go back for someone like I was actually looking at Gif Orban before Gif Orban was sold. I was actually hoping that we would actually sneak in for Gif Orban now that his the hype surrounding him died down before he came back from injury, but that ship has sailed as well. So realistically, yes, is Santiago Jimenez or maybe someone equivalent that might come as a surprise to us. But as long as Big Ange is willing to take a gamble on him and feels that he is a good suit for his Ange ball system, whichever player that Big Ange wants, let's just trust in Big Ange and his judgment.
Yeah, we have Chris Agambar in the house, the best Agambar on the planet, in the universe, in the galaxy, everywhere. Clubs want to have a meeting about changing FFP to UEFA rules, so Levy's hopes of a more level playing field will be out of the window.
Yeah, there's a 2-day meeting with UEFA, and it's not just the English clubs; it's all the clubs. And I think that there is talk that the English clubs want to move to the UEFA rules rather than the Premiership rules that have been brought in, which I think the UEFA rules currently stand at. It's basically bringing a wage cap type thing to it, and you can only spend 70% of what your earnings are. So it's slightly the lesser of two evils in the eyes of the Premiership, because what we're doing in the Premiership is not being done in other leagues in Europe. So therefore, to try and escape that, they're saying, look, let's just have the UEFA thing. Now, at the moment, there's 10 teams. I think when the report was done at the beginning of the year, there was 10 teams that were deemed to be in danger of FFP, and there's 10 teams that weren't. So therefore, at the moment, it's 50-50 the teams that are in danger. So if you, on that comparison, then the vote would probably be 50-50 to join the UEFA rules. I don't know whether they're allowed to or not, but that's what they're going for.
Yeah, I think it'll happen because I feel like slowly, in order to sort of like the Super League will not really come to be in its full fruition. They sort of integrate those ideas into like the UEFA rules and the like that funnel into the Champions League and change the format, etc. So I think that they'll do like a across Europe UEFA rules that apply to everyone the same to try and get that going, that that nascent stage of that idea going. So I really feel like that's what's going to happen. That's what everyone's heading towards. Chang, what do you think? Chang?
For this UEFA's FFP rules, I mean, the rules are the rules. However you look at it, and if there is one aspect, or rather, there is one skill that Daniel Levy has that we conveniently overlook over everything else that he's done so far at the club, which is his business acumen or his financial savvy know-how working around the rules. I really wouldn't worry too much as long as our accountants and Levy is behind it, just so that we are well within our right to spend however much we need to spend. And if our recent signings, our recent transfer business, and our dealings are anything to go by, I think we are more than capable of working around this FFP. I would not necessarily worry too much about it, because currently this is not just something that affects us; it affects everyone as well on a level playing field. So let's just trust in Levy for once. If there's one thing only that we should trust in Levy, it is to balance the books for us. That's what he's best at. Just so long as we are not affected on the pitch and off the pitch in terms of our performances, whether it's balancing the books or even bringing in the kind of players that we need to challenge regularly on all fronts.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, I don't trust Daniel Levy on much, honestly. But yeah, hopefully he can do his job. His basic job is to balance the books. So, like, I think that I can manage that much. And we have a lot of people now working under him. So he's changed the management team. So let's see what happens. Shinata saying Jude Bellingham. I mean, I don't see Jude coming over, Shinata. But like, it's a great unrealistic shout. But his brother Joe Bellingham, on the other hand, it's possible that we could get if we wanted him. And Daniel Singh, his is Musiala. Actually, I agree with this 100%. If we could afford him, unrealistic signing, like dream signing for me would be Musiala. He fits the profile. He's young, he's fast, he's creative. He's just got everything. Bayern will definitely never let him go. He's just like their future. But if I could get him, this would be just the dream. This would be amazing. I would be so happy if this happened, Daniel. Yeah, as Daniel saying, unrealistic Musiala or Bellingham, realistic Kone or Jimenez. I'd agree with that. And Bobby saying unrealistic Kane or Haaland. And realistic Kyogo, Jimenez, and Jota. Yep. I mean, it's really funny how Spurs fans, the unrealistic and the realistic, are so far apart. I think that just shows how much we have to grow as a team, to where our unrealistic and our realistic are closer together, like nearer in terms of players that we can possibly attract to our club. I'd like to see that. Kijaz is here. I haven't seen Kijaz before. My prediction is 65 million for Rafinha plus 45 million for Rafinha. I didn't understand that. Anyone want to make sense of that?
No, I'm gonna have to shoot. But thanks for having me on. I'm gonna have to shoot. Please keep supporting Chang and Ash with their View from Asia. They are superb, great partnership. Keep supporting them here. keep watching them. And also, can I say, please support to Ben at the coffee company as well, and support to Bobby 3 Spurs Boys. So if you bring their links up again, please support these guys. They are moderators of this show when these guys are on. So please go ahead and support them. Peace, love. Thank you to everyone in the chat. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys soon. Yeah.
Bye, Jose.
Thank you
Thanks
so much for
joining
dropping by,
us.
Senor Garcia. It was really
No
lovely
worries.
to have you in.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
Okay, Chang, we have wait. We have now lost our supervision. We can do whatever we want. So that's that. And Eugene is reminding us, don't forget Spurs Vision TV. Absolutely, everyone. Shan, could you just drop Spurs Vision TV link in the chat?
Okay, yes, I will. I will do that.
So yeah, like I was saying with the unrealistic and realistic, I really wish that that would just be a little closer together, because it's the same with our squad, right? Like the drop off between our first 11 and the squad players, that's so much, because we can't attract like top level talent to sit on our bench yet. We're not City yet. I'd like to reach that stage as a club where somebody just wants to come and then fight for their place here, where nobody is guaranteed a place in the starting lineup, and it's just a different team every time we go up, and they're all equally scary and threatening. That's my dream for Spurs. um Chris is saying the UEFA rules will be unfair on the clubs lower down the table or clubs coming up in the championship, as they would not have as much revenue coming in. Yeah, I tend to think in general the UEFA rules are sort of funneled to focus on the top clubs, because it's generally that's the clubs that have the most say at the sort of like centrally in terms of the UEFA. When it comes to like the domestic leagues, all of the lower clubs also have a little bit more of a say, because they have more lobbying, they have more connections, they know the local administrators, etc. So I feel like with this sort of decentralizing of any of the rules, what happens is you generally see that the lower clubs are the ones that suffer the most. I don't know about the specifics yet, I'd have to look it up, but I mean, if they're just meeting yet, so nobody knows the specifics. But I really hope that like that it doesn't, like, I really hope that we don't lose that local domestic football. That's so, like, the reason I watch English football is that that element stays even with promotion into the Premier League. So I wouldn't like to see lower league teams coming in and then just being Sheffield United and being thrashed every week. That's not what I came to see. What I want to see is, the teams that get promoted. Now, if Leicester gets promoted, Leicester is an amazing team to have in the Premier League. So that's what I like to see coming in from the championship, and the same with the championship from the lower levels. So I just feel like that sort of standard has to be maintained, and you lose it when you have these financial juggernauts and rules that don't work for you. And Danny Lee saying Musiala fits the profile, like you said, Ash. We think the same. Yes. Daniel and I generally on the same frequency, even when we disagree. Money saying wreck the gap, do damage. I kind of want to sort of. Eric Ten Hag is here. Hi, Eric Ten Hag. How you doing? Um, you look. Eric, do you think that you're more confident that United will catch up to us now that we've lost? Well, not lost. It feels like a loss, but it was a draw. I have to remind myself, Aishwarya, it was a draw. Draw.
Well, it does feel
And
like a loss when you look at how much of the game we were in control, especially in that second half when we were absolutely peppering Jordan Pickford in goal before we completely lost the plot the moment we took off Bentancur and Madison. That was really, really strange. But I mean, we have to learn from that, and hopefully we will not drop more points between now and the end of the season in the hopes that United do not catch up to Spurs.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. I just do not want, like, it would really suck for my season if United caught up to us. Um, and Jishnu saying, realistic or unrealistic, we definitely need a number six either to be backup for Biss or starter over Biss. We are stocked with number eight and number 10, Benta Matter, Sar, Bergwall, Alfie Divine, Donnelly. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with this. I think we need somebody who can recover the ball. That's what we need. We just need somebody to recover the ball and sort of get the play going. Like we need somebody like that, like a midfield general. That's what we need. I
That would
really hope.
be that would be Sar. That would be definitely Pape Mata Sar. He is our Duracell bunny rabbit who has boundless energy and is always giving his 100% box to box. You name it. That's Pape Mata Sar.
Yeah, I hope that Sar becomes that player for us. Let's see. Like we've not actually seen this midfield together, fully fit, functioning together. So now that we have everyone back and hopefully Bisuma gets fit again as well, let's just like give them all game time and see what works. Now, like this is also an opportunity. Like as much as I we've been, I hate that we're out of the cups. I hate it. I wanted to win a cup so badly. I really wanted a cup run, but we're out of the cups. We don't have that much. I won't say we don't have that much to play for, but it's just the league. There's not a lot of football. Let's just experiment. Let's go for it. See what works. What functions is our best midfield. Um, so I'd like to see all these players put together in different combinations, except Skip and Hoybier. I don't want to see Skip and Hoybier. But apart from them, I'd like to see all of these players in different combinations, see what works, chop and change it. Like figure out your best chemistry. So I'd really like to see that. Um, Everyone sort of talking to them each other. When you say we was in control, I never felt in control. We did not really pepper Pickford with shots, seeing as Everton had more shots than us. We're that also missing their two best midfielders. Uh, yeah, I actually agree with this honestly. Like, I do think that game, the first half, actually both halves, we didn't really like. I won't say they had control either, but I think that like they had a lot of the ball and they were progressing pretty forward for an Everton team, Sean Dyche team. They were like, and they were playing a lot better than I thought they would because they were crap against everyone else before that. For they hadn't. I think they'd come in winning one match in four or something like that. So they'd come in with really bad form, and I thought that they played really well. So I will say that at no point in the game did I think that we were in control.
I would like to add something very quickly, if I may, Miss Ash. Although it's disappointing that we let 3 points slip, and let's be honest, it was 2 points drop, not 1 point gain against Everton. But I believe this is a very good opportunity for me to just remind everybody that, including this season, I think we have not won at Goodison Park for a good 5 seasons now, since
Yeah.
2019. I believe that was the Christmas of 2019, where I believe we won something like 5-2 or 6-2. It was a very crazy game. We fell behind very early, and then Sun Heung-min somehow got into a position where he was able to lob this ball from the right from a very tight, acute angle to draw it at 1-1. And I remember Kieran Trippier had a free kick that was parried or saved, and then Harry Kane tucked in the rebound. And Ericsson also had a very beautiful goal in the second half. And Sun Heung-min got two as well, two for Sun, two for Kane, and maybe even one for Ericsson or even Delhi. But it was the last time we won was that long ago under Pochettino back in 2019 before he was
Yeah.
sacked. So this season included, I think we've not won there for a good 4 or 5 seasons now. So yes, it was unlucky and it was very disappointing for us to have dropped points. away at Everton, but what's done is done. No point crying over spilled milk. We just have to learn from it, and we really need maximum points now in our next two home games against Brighton and Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yeah. Talking about Brighton, this is the last thing we sort of cover. We won't do like a match, like pre-match thing. We'll just like your thoughts in a minute sort of thing. Uh, what do you think about the Brighton game?
So okay, I'm just going to go by the book here when you try to predict anything that's going to happen based on our current form, the players available to us now that everyone is almost fully fit and back from international duty, as well as the opposition and their current form and the number of injuries or suspensions that they have to deal with themselves. For the Brighton game at home, this is also going to be another one of those scrappy, close call or very tight margins game. The same way we struggle against Manchester United away as well as Everton away. I'm hoping for us to, at the very least, put to rights the very disappointing 4-2 loss away at Brighton about 2 months ago in December, I believe. Or was it in early January? I can't really remember. But let's just correct that result, that very disappointing loss 4-2 away. I really hope we go for it right from the beginning. Let's not do a South Korea. Let's not try and copy Jurgen Klinsmann and play negative football and let the opposition get us first. We should take the initiative. Let's go for the jugular. Let's from the kickoff get straight into their faces, try to win all the second balls, recycle possession as much as we can, make use of the flanks, make use of the speed and the tenacity that we have. And with Pepe Matassa back as well, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't be bossing that midfield. Really, really bossing the midfield. And if Madison is anywhere close to full fitness, there should be no problems for him spraying those passes left and right to create the opportunities for Richarlison to hopefully notch his 10th goal of the season for us this season. So I really hope we come out all guns blazing. If we can get a goal or two in the first half, that would be very, very good for us. Although, and I know this is a kind of recurring theme for me in the last few match previews, but don't be surprised if we are the team to concede first, maybe even go into the half at 0-0. But I would definitely back us to get the 3 points for once in this home game against Brighton.
Yeah. Ben saying it's so long since didn't win a trophy. I had no facial hair. Everyone, get Ben, go to the coffee company. Ben, show us your no facial hair face. Everyone like to see the big reveal of trophy Ben with his no facial hair. Young, that'd be cute, won't it? Go see a cute baby Ben Kaufman. It might be fun. And Daniel saying Christmas 2018 under Poch beat them 6-2. Yeah, it was his anniversary. I remember his wedding anniversary, and he said, "This is my gift to my wife" or something like that. I remember. It was his 26th wedding anniversary, so he was like 2-6 is the scoreline. And Eric Ten Hag is saying, when Chang is here, I miss Ellie, and with Ellie, I miss Chang. When could I catch you guys all together? Hopefully soon we will make this happen. We give the audience what it wants. Hopefully it'll happen soon. And yeah, I kind of agree with Jishnu on this. I actually see Sar as more of a box to box running midfielder, and we need someone sort of like, we need a Rodri. Like we need midfield general Rodri, like somebody of that ilk. Maybe not as good as Rodri, obviously, because he's the best in the world at that position. But I feel like we need somebody like that. So, recruiting team, please get on it. And Swap is here. Hi, Swap. and he's saying after the Everton game, I thought we would buy a midfielder with different profiles. Somehow, like we sell Højbjerg, we could get an anchor man rather than signing a like-to-like replacement. Yeah, I see this. I see this as well. And Swaps also saying this thought came because City also struggled with defenders like Guardiola, Ake, and Diaz when Rodri wasn't present. So maybe our team needs an anchor man. So it gives a structure to our defense. Yeah, exactly. I feel like these modern ways of playing with a high line, you need somebody there to sort of like uh, just give a little bit of a cushion to the defense, because like we've seen in the last couple of games, our defense has been getting like our defense is being put under pressure because there's no one in front of it to sort of to relieve that pressure off them. You know, Højbjerg and Skip haven't been doing that job where they take the ball and they progress it further, where they recover the ball when it's coming at them. So I do feel like we need somebody there, you know. I wouldn't like, I'd hate to praise Arsenal, but I feel like for them, Declan Rice is that person. So I wish that we had gotten. I mean, I don't want West Ham players, but I wish that we had gotten Declan Rice instead of those idiots. And Chris is saying last time we won a trophy, I had a head full of hair. Uh, Chris, I'm hoping. You know what, Chris? I wish that when we win a trophy again, you again will have a head full of hair. So here's to hoping your hair grows back. Everyone wish Chris hair. And El Tel Cockerel is saying keep showing the love to that like button for Ash and Chang View from Asia show. Yes, everyone. Smash the like my friend David Shire. Hi, Dost. Smash the like on both channels, please. So this kind of brings us to the end of the show. Chang, where can we find you?
Okay, as I posted the link earlier, I can be found on Spursvision TV, where both me and Mr. Eugene, we have been doing some watch-alongs of late, especially the Korean games in the Asia Cup. And if there are any more live watch-alongs or even shows to do, whether it's pre-match or post-match reviews of all our Spurs games, I can be found on Spursvision TV. Apart from that, I'm pretty much here and there and everywhere, whenever and wherever anyone needs me. It could be on United Spurs of America. It could be on Kate and Jimbo's Just a Girl Who Loves Spurs channel. I was actually thinking of trying to appear on Mia's members calling show earlier, but I thought better of it because I really wanted to get this show of ours right this time around. But yeah, anyone can always look me up on social media, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere with you can search my name. That's where I'll be. So if you are ever in any of those platforms and you are not connected to me, by all means, please do look me up. I would really welcome it.
Yes, everyone go sub to Spursvision TV. The link is in the chat. This is the link. So if y'all want, go there. It's a lot of fun. You have Eugene and Chang and a bunch of other people come on. So it's a lot of fun. Go there and support all Spurs channels. Like, we're a little family here. So it's your little, I think Colin says it best. Your favorite corner of YouTube. So that's what we are in Talking Ball. So we're trying to build that community here. So everyone like, subscribe, and Eric, we will take this in the next episode since we are out of time. But I will remember, or you tune in and remind me if I do not remember, which is highly likely that I won't. But as always, we play you out with our legendary James Madison song. So everyone have a good day and come on, you Spurs.
My team has got James Madison. James Madison is what we need. Whoa, thank God we got James.